Today I'm like a fountain of information for you so you can live a better life. And I feel like I'm dressed as a Cuban guy. What's up everybody? So today I wanted to share with you guys 7 life lessons that I've learned. Today my notes are actually on the back of a printer assessment scan. Like, you know how it prints out paper? It's like, hey, we're doing all right up here. We're a little low on black ink. Because what printer isn't low on black ink? After living 23 years of my life, I figured that these would be beneficial to share. Tip number 1. So this tip is kind of confusing. I'm gonna have to try and take you through it slowly, okay? If you do a creative job, now what I mean by creative job is YouTube, photography, videography, something that isn't normal business hours. Standard business hours will be like 9 to 5 or like 8 to 4, meaning you gotta be up fairly early. But if you do these creative jobs, you kind of set your own hours and make it work for you. For an example, I do YouTube, but I also do a television show, and both of those have odd hours. With YouTube, I can do it whenever I need to do it, as long as I meet the deadline of Wednesday and Sunday. So our sleeping pattern is a little different. Now, to people that aren't that way of thinking or don't live that lifestyle, they generally look at you as if you're a lazy ass if you're not up by like 8 in the morning. This happens to me all the time. I'll get phone calls from people fairly early in the morning when business days start. Try my best to sound awake, but it's hard. Is this a bad time? No, I just made breakfast for like 12 people. I'm totally awake. Wow, this kid is still sleeping and it's already 8:30 in the morning. Like, what a lazy you know? So here's my life lesson for you. If your phone rings before 8 o'clock, it's better not to answer it and have them think that you're in a meeting than to answer it and have them know that you were sleeping. Tip number 2. This may be one of the biggest tips that I can give you. True love. Growing up as a kid, the older generation, they would always share their stories of how they met. It was like,
I knew the first time I saw her, I knew she was gonna be my wife.
Maybe it does exist, but I just haven't experienced it yet. They make it sound like there's this like electrical force that hits you and you're just like, whoa! I need to marry this girl. I think that was the biggest flaw or false thing that I was taught growing up. I think that feeling of love is something that comes later on, and it's something that you build through experiences and through getting to know each other better. I don't think you can just get to know somebody by like being in the same room, like, I'm gonna marry you. And creep a lot of people out. Tip number 3. Okay, guys, if you're traveling, learn the culture of where you're going before you go there. I went to Italy this summer. They do this weird thing where they go psst, 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 to call. Instead of going like, hey, pardon me, excuse me, they go psst, psst. So I keep going around Italy thinking, what the? Why does everybody want to tell me a secret or something like that? But in Italy, I found it was more of a call to action. Is make sure you learn the culture before you go to experience another place, because you'll enjoy it better and you won't look like such an ass. Tip number 4. If ever you've got a pack of gum, do not open it around 4 or more people. For the obvious fact that when you make the little opening sound of the gum, it's like a mating call for like everybody within earshot. Yo, you got gum? Hey man, can I have some gum?
Can I have a piece too?
Everybody then takes all your gum. You paid money for it, but you're giving it out to other people. Yes, I believe in sharing. Secretly be like, yo, here you go. The second you pull it out, everyone's like, oh man, my breath kind of smells too. I need some. Tip number 5. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and they're like, yo, man, you remember that part in that movie where it's like the dog was on the sled? Funny line. You just gotta be like, yeah. It's because otherwise if you just stand there and go like, no, man, I don't remember. Then they just keep explaining the scene as if you're gonna remember. It's like, I haven't seen the movie, man. Right when they start reminiscing about a movie scene, just go, oh, yeah. Oh, I love that part. It was so good. In the future, when you're talking to that person that likes to talk about old movies, just start going, oh, yeah. Right when they start doing it. That way it's like, they believe you as if you know. Tip number 6. It's probably one of my favorite tips because I've used it for years. Back when I was in like 8th grade, I was applying for a job. My mom was like,
oh, your brother Brad is so good at writing resumes. Just get him to do it.
Brad, can you write me a resume? He's like,
Sure, sure.
He's not actually like that. Well, he's kind of like that. He writes me a resume. I get it back, and I'm like, man, is this mine or are you doing work for somebody else? Because it says honor roll student. From 8th grade till I was out of high school, I had honor roll student on my resume. That's something no job is really gonna check, and it's gonna be like, wow, you're an honor roll student, cool. Write honor roll student on there if you can sell it. If you can't, you go in there like, I just farted. They're gonna be like, this kid is clearly not an honor roll student. If they did end up catching me and saying, hey, I called your school and you're not an honor roll student, I would just be like, oh yeah, no, sorry, I'm working towards it. I'm on pace to become an honor roll student. This guy's an honor roll student. We need him to work for us. That's a huge life hack. And last but not least, tip number 7. Now there's a saying that goes, the grass is always greener, or the grass is always greener on the other side. What that means is, in your head, you tend to start thinking, could I have it better somewhere else? Could I be doing better somewhere else? Could I be with somebody better somewhere else? It is a terrible way to think because it'll consume you. You'll never be able to settle with one thing. So listen to me here. The grass is not always greener on the other side, and there's the typical answer, it's greener wherever you water it. Meaning, invest time in where you're at and look at the positive things, and maybe the grass will start to look greener or green enough that you won't have to experience greener grass. Now, to people out there that aren't quite understanding here, I'm not talking about actual grass. It's all symbolic. It's symbolic, okay? So you guys have it. Those are 7 of my secret life lessons that'll hopefully benefit you. If you guys have any other secret life lessons that you want to share with me down below, I'd love to hear them. Who doesn't want to win at life? You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to my videos if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See you guys later.